Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Swami Samartha. Namaste, friends. I am Dr. Shalaka Kulkarni. In today's chapter, we will continue with learning the basic concepts of the four pillars of Jyotish. In the previous session, we got acquainted with the names of the first 9 nakshatras, along with their ruling planets, their length in degrees in the zodiac. We also covered the first 6 Rashis along with their rulers and their extent in the zodiac. We understood how each Graha or planet differs from one another in terms of their characteristics. We also studied what different groups of houses are named and their significance in everyone's birth chart. If you have missed the previous sessions or need to refresh, please check out the links below in the description box. In today's session, we will dive a little deeper into the same 4 pillars with the new information regarding each pillar. So let's begin with the first pillar, that is the Nakshatras or the Asterisms. In this table, I have mentioned the names of the next set of 9 nakshatras starting from number 10 to number 18, along with their start degrees and their end degrees with the nakshatra lord in the last column. So the 10 nakshatra is Magha. It starts at 0 degrees in Leo and ends at 13 degrees 20 minutes in Leo. Ketu is the ruler of Magha. Nakshatra number 11 is Purva Falguni. It starts at 13 degrees 20 minutes in Leo and ends at 26 degrees 40 minutes in Leo. Venus rules Purva Falguni. Nakshatra number 12 is Uttara Falguni. It starts at 26 degrees 40 minutes in Leo, ends at 10 degrees in Virgo. Sun rules Uttara Falguni. Number 13 is Hasta. Starts at 10 degrees in Virgo and ends at 23 degrees 20 minutes in Virgo. Moon rules Hasta. Number 14 is Chitra. It starts at 23 degrees 20 minutes in Virgo and ends at 6 degrees 40 minutes in Libra. Mars is the ruler of Chitra. Number 15 is Swati. It starts at 6 degrees 40 minutes in Libra and ends at 20 degrees in Libra. Rahu rules Swati Nakshatra. Number 16 is Vishakha. It starts at 20 degrees in Libra, ends at 3 degrees 20 minutes in Scorpio. Jupiter rules Vishakha. Number 17 is Anuradha. It starts at 3 degrees 20 minutes in Scorpio and ends at 16 degrees 40 minutes in Scorpio. Saturn is the ruler of Anuradha. Number 18th nakshatra is Jyeshtha. It starts at 16 degrees 40 minutes in Scorpio and ends at 30 degrees in Scorpio. Mercury is the ruler of Jyeshtha. So if you notice, the rulers of these 9 nakshatra are also in the same sequence as the rulers of the first 9 nakshatras we studied in the previous session. The sequence starts from Ketu and ends in Mercury. So we will learn about the last set of the 9 nakshatra from number 19 to number 27 in the next video. By now, you must have memorized that each nakshatra has a length of 13 degrees and 20 minutes, and each nakshatra is further divided into 4 parts or pada, and each pada is of 3 degrees 20 minutes. So one must patiently dive into this science slowly and steadily with understanding the foundations thoroughly. In the next slide, we will learn about the second pillar of Jyotish, that is Rashi. So in today's session, we will get acquainted with the remaining 6 Rashis from Libra to Pisces. Let's begin. So number 7 Rashi is Libra in English or Tula in Sanskrit. Venus is the ruler of Libra. It starts at 180 degrees and ends at 210 degrees in the zodiac. Number 8 Rashi is Scorpio or Vrishchika in Sanskrit. Its ruler is Mars and it starts at 210 degrees and ends at 240 degrees in the zodiac. Number 9 zodiac sign is Sagittarius or Dhanu in Sanskrit. Jupiter is a ruler of Sagittarius. It starts at 240 degrees and ends at 270 degrees in the Rashi Chakra. Number 10 is Capricorn or Makar. Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. It starts at 270 degrees and ends at 300 degrees in the zodiac. Number 11 is Aquarius or Kumbha. Saturn again is a ruler of Aquarius. It starts at 300 degrees and ends at 330 degrees in the Rashi Chakra. The last zodiac sign or Rashi is Pisces and Meena in Sanskrit. Its ruler is Jupiter. It starts at 330 degrees and ends at 360 degrees. So once the planet completes the 12 Rashis, it again enters the sign of Aries at 0 degrees in the Rashi Chakra. By now, you must have also memorized that each zodiac sign or Rashi has a length of 30 degrees. So from this slide, you will notice that each zodiac sign has got a particular planet which rules that zodiac sign. So you will notice that Sun and Moon, they rule only one Rashi, while Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn are the lords or rulers of 2 Rashis each. So Sun rules Rashi number 5, that is Leo, while Moon rules Rashi number 4, that is Cancer. Mercury rules Rashi number 3 and 6, Gemini and Virgo. Venus rules Rashi number 2 and 7, that is Taurus and Libra. Mars rules Rashi number 1 and 8, that is Aries and Scorpio. Jupiter rules Rashi number 9 and 12, that is Sagittarius and Pisces, while Saturn rules Rashi number 10 and 11, Capricorn and Aquarius. Take some time to read through the Rashis, their lords, and their start and end degrees in the zodiac, along with their numbers. Numbers are more important in placing it in the birth chart. In the next slide, we'll move on to the third pillar of Jyotish, that is Graha or planets. In this slide, we will know how these planets influence our lives, what these planets deliver to us in their planetary periods. To understand all this, we have to study what distinguishes them from one another in terms of color, in terms of their ruling deities, in terms of their gender, which 5 elements do they control, their varanas and gunas. Let's go through the shlokas one by one. These shlokas are from Brihat Parashar Hora Shastra, chapter number 3, shloka number 17 and 18, which gives us which color does each planet have. I'll read the shloka. Rakta Shamo Divadhisho Gauragatro Nishakaraha Natyuchanga Kujo Rakto Durva Shamo Budhastatha. So in shloka number 7, Maharshi Parashara says, Divadhisha is the name of the sun. Divadhisha is Rakta Shamo. So sun is blood red in color. Rakta is blood. So blood red in color is the color of the sun. Nishakara is moon. Moon is Gauragatro, that is wheatish in color. Natyuchanga is Mars, which is not too tall or not too far away. So Kujo is Mars. Kujo is also Rakto. Rakto is blood red in color. Buddhastatha is Durvasham or Buddha is Mercury. Mercury is having the color of the grass. Durva is the grass. So the color of the grass, that is green color. So Mercury has green color. Mars has a blood red color, same as the sun, while moon has wheatish color. The next shloka says, Gaura Gatro Gururneya Shukra Syavastathaivacha Krishna Deho Rave Putro Nyayate Dvijasattama. So Maharshi Parashara says, Guru, that is Jupiter, is also Gaura Gatra. But the color of Jupiter is a little bit of yellow. So Jupiter you can say as a wheatish yellow in color. Shukra is Syava. Syava is like a brown color. So Shukra, that is Venus, is a little bit of brown color. Rave Putro means the sun. Rave is Lord Sun. So son of Lord Sun, that is Saturn, is Krishna Deho. Krishna is black in color. So Maharshi Parashara in shloka number 18 says, Guru is little bit of wheatish yellow in color. Shukra, that is Venus, is brown in color, while Saturn is black in color. The next shloka gives us the ruling deities of all these 7 planets. Let's read the shloka. Vanyambu Shikhija Vishnu Vidauja Shachika Dvija Surya Dinam Khaganam Cha Devadneya Kramena Cha. So Maharshi Parashara says, from Sun till Saturn, these are the different deities for each planet. I have tabulated them in the next slide. So in this slide, we have the first column with the planets, the second column with their color, the third column with the ruling deities. So Sun's ruling deity is Agni. Varuna is a ruling deity for moon. Subramanya is a ruling deity for Mars. Agni is the god of fire. Varuna is the god of rain. Subramanya is the army chief. Vishnu is the ruling deity for Mercury. We all know Lord Vishnu. Indra is the ruling deity for Jupiter. Indra's wife, Sachi, is the ruling deity for Venus, while the creator himself, Brahma, is the ruling deity for Saturn. In the next shloka, we'll go through the gender for each planet. So the shloka states, Klimbau dau saumya sauri cha yuvatindu bhrugudvija naraha sheshascha vidneya bhanurbhaumo gurustatha. So in this shloka, Maharshi Parashara says that each planet is having a gender. So in this column, I have mentioned that Sun, Mars, and Jupiter are the male planets, while Venus and Moon are the female planets. Mercury and Saturn are neuter. So in this shloka, Maharshi Parashara gave the gender for each planet. In the next shloka, shloka number 21, Maharshi Parashara gives information about the Pancha Mahabhuta, that is the 5 major elements present in this cosmos. The 5 major elements are fire, earth, ether, water, and air. So the shloka says, Agni Bhumi Nabhastoyam Vayavah Kramato Dvija Bhaumadinam Grahanam Cha Tatvaniti Yathakramam. So 5 elements or Panchamahabhuta in Sanskrit are called Tattva. So we have Agni Tattva, that is the fire element, Bhumi Tattva, that is the earth element, Nabha is the Akash or the sky or the ether, Toya is the water element, and Vayu is the air element. So Maharshi Parashara have given the different tattva for every planet. We'll go through the details. So Sun and Mars, they belong to the Agni tattva or the fire element. Moon and Venus, they belong to the Toya, that is the water element or a Jala tattva. Water or Jala, we say it in Sanskrit. So Moon and Venus belong to the water element. Mercury belongs to the Bhutattva, that is the earth element. Jupiter, which is the largest of the planet, it belongs to the Nabha or Akash or ether tattva. Whereas Saturn belongs to the air or Vayu tattva. So Maharshi Parashara have given different tattva to each planet. So Sun and Mars, if you see the Sun and Mars in anyone's birth chart, in the first house itself, you will come to know that this person has more of an Agni tattva. That means that person might get angry very easily. So you can use this information about each planet in finding out the characteristics of the person depending on which planet sits in the first house. The next shloka talks about the varanas. Now this varana is not the caste system which we often get misunderstood with. The varna is actually the occupation, the type of occupation the person might have in a broad sense, depending on the combination of the planets. Now let's go to the shloka. Shloka number 22 states, Guru Shukau Vipravarnau Kujarko Kshatriyau Dvija Shashi Saumyau Vaishyavarnau Shani Shudro Dvijottama. So Maharshi Parashara, he gives information about which planets belong to which varna. Let's go through the chart. So planet Sun and planet Mars, they belong to the Kshatriya or the warrior class. Planet Mercury and planet Moon, they belong to the trader or the Vaishya class. Jupiter and Venus, they are the Brahmin or the learned class. Now, if you remember in the previous session, we learned about the authority in the planetary cabinet. So Jupiter and Venus belong to the ministers in the planetary cabinet. So what is the work of the minister? The minister always advises the king, gives some information or gives the direction or helps in the decision making. So Jupiter and Venus here are Brahmin or the learned class. And Saturn, it belongs to the Shudra or the worker class. So one should understand that these Varnas are not the caste system, but more like related to the occupation of the person. So looking at the placement of different planets in the birth chart, one can assess the broad nature of the person's occupation or profession. So when Jupiter and Venus belongs to the learned class. So learning and intelligence is the forte for the learned class. Sun and Mars belong to the warrior class. So bravery is the forte of the warrior class. Moon and Mercury belong to the Vaishya or the trader class. How are traders? Traders are having a very good knack of getting along with different types of people, about building rapport. So that's the forte of the trader class or the businessman class, while Saturn belongs to the worker class. So the forte of a worker class is hard work or physical labor. So if anyone's Saturn is well placed, that person can go on working for hours without getting tired. So this way, Maharshi Parashara gives us the different types of varna to which each planet belonged to. Now, the last shloka of this session for the planets will give us the information about the guna. Let's go to the shloka. Jiva Suryendava Sattvam Buddha Shukrau Rajas Tatha Surya Putra Dhara Putrau Tamah Prakriti Kau Dvija. So in this shloka, Maharshi Parashara gives us information about the types of guna which each planet belonged to. Now, guna essentially means one's state of mind or thoughts or actions. Sattva guna simply means purity or truthfulness in one's thoughts and actions. Rajoguna or rajasic shows some passion or energy in getting the work done, while the person may have some impurity in his thoughts and actions. Tamoguna or tamasic shows a dark, mean, or fickle-minded person. So let's see where the planets are placed. So Sun, Moon, and Jupiter are very sattvic planets. That means if in anybody's birth chart Jupiter and Moon are together, or Sun and Jupiter are together, it essentially shows, and if they are placed in good houses, that is in the Kendra or the Trikona, that essentially shows us that the person is very pure in his thoughts and action. That person is not cunning. That person is not fickle minded. He is truthful. That's what these planets, if they are placed in good dignity in the birth chart, will show. If Mars and Saturn are in the first house of anyone's birth chart, it shows that the person is having a tamo guna or is tamasic in nature. That means that person is little fickle minded, or he is having a mean nature. So he doesn't have good thoughts and action. That is one way of looking at it. But the other way is Mars shows bravery and Saturn shows hardworking person. So if Mars and Saturn are together in someone's birth chart, that person and placed in good dignity, then the person will be brave enough and the person will be a hard worker. He will persevere till he achieves his goal. So you have to have a very good understanding about what the planets tell you when they are placed in certain houses in the birth chart. We will learn about that in our future videos when we go to the advanced topic of predicting the birth chart. Now in the next slide, we will learn about the last pillar of Jyotish, that is Bhava. These two shloka are from chapter number 8 of Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra, and these shloka are shloka numbers 37 and 38. This is the birth chart of the North Indian style, as you all know, and in this I have given the main identity or main information which you take from each house. But first, let's go to the shloka and see what it says. Tanurdhanam cha sahajo bandhuputraraya statha yuvatirandra dharmakhya karmalabha vyayaha kramat. So, Tanu is the health or self, Dhana is the wealth, Sahaja is sibling, Bandhu is relatives, Putra is progeny. So Maharshi Parashara in these two verses or in this shloka have given information about each house or each bhava. So Maharshi's I'll go to the next shloka and we'll finish up the shlokas first before we go to the meaning. Sankshepenai udita manyad buddhyanusaratah. I'll repeat. Sankshepenai tu udita manyad buddhyanusaratah kinchit vishesham vakshayami yatha brahma mukhashrutam. So Maharshi Parashara says, as taught by Lord Brahma, Brahma Mukha Shrutam. Mukha is through the mouth, Shrutam is heard. So as taught by Lord Brahma, each house is given a special name for easy identity. Kinchid Vishesham. That means every house is having a special identity or special name. Vakshayami, I'm going to tell you. So the attributes or indications are the first house always belongs to the person himself or the herself. So first house is about self or person's health. If you want to judge the health of the person, we will first go to the first house. How is the house? Which planets are placed in the house? Which are they in good dignity? Do they belong to good houses in the birth chart? That all we'll be learning about in the first house. That will tell us the health of the person or the stature of the person. The second house predominantly tells us about dhana, that is the wealth. So the second house belongs to the wealth. That's the main information which we get from the birth chart. The third house will tell us about sahaja or sibling, how the person behaves with the younger one, or how the person behaves with his office workers, co-workers, will all be given through the third house of the birth chart. The fourth house tells us about bandhu or matru. Matru means mother. The fourth house tells us about mother. The fourth house also tells us about the relation with the relatives. The fifth house gives most important information about putra. In Sanskrit, putra, English is progeny or children. The fifth house predominantly deals with kids or children. The sixth house deals with Ari. Ari meaning enemies. So if you want to see if you have enemies in your life, or you have got a loan, can you repay the loans? Or you have some ill health, that can also be seen through the sixth house. So sixth house essentially is not a good house, so it belongs to the house of enemies. The seventh house, which is the opposite of the first house, deals with our married life. So from the seventh house, we can understand about our spouse, how the spouse will be, or how the nature of the spouse will be. So seventh house deals with married life and also with our spouse. The eighth life is the eighth house or eighth bhava is called Randra. Randra essentially means something which is hidden. But this house also tells us about the longevity of a person. So there are many other indications or significations of a particular house, but predominantly what these houses represent is given in today's session. We will touch upon the rest of the indications or significations of each house in future video. The ninth house here belongs to the house of Dharma. Now, Dharma here doesn't mean religion. It means about righteousness, how the person will behave. Is the person uh, having good thoughts and actions? How will the person take himself through difficult situations? Is all studied through this house of Dharma or righteousness. The 10th house is related to our karma. In today's parlance, it doesn't mean just a profession, but it means the overall karma, overall actions of this life. So the karma sthana, that is the house of, nowadays people take it as a house of profession, but it's actually all the action which we do in daily basis in our life. That is all given through this house number 10, that is karma sthana. The 11th house belongs to the labha or gains. Now, these gains can be of very different nature for every person. Some people will think only about financial gains. Some people will think about how many friends I enjoy. Some people will think about, oh, what I have gained in this whole life. So, gains differ according to the person's thoughts or choices. So, in this lifetime, whatever gains you will have, you will be studying that from this house in the birth chart. The last but not the least is the last house, that is Vyayasthana. Vyayasthana shows the expenditure in this lifetime. Where will your expenditure will be the most? Now, this expenditure can be in terms of money, can be in terms of your time, can be in terms of your effort, or also can be in terms of hospitalization, diseases. So the losses or expenditure is given by the 12th house. So in this shloka, Maharshi Parashara has just given us a gist of what each house prominently represent in everybody's horoscope. There are many more attributes or significations of a particular bhava. We will take those gradually in the future video. So I believe this will be enough information for this session. Catch you up the next time. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe this channel among your friends who are curious to learn this science thoroughly and systematically.